This episode of my So Crooked Opinion podcast has been sponsored by Rivers Printing Shop. Rivers Printing Shop is a family business where all your custom and handcrafted ideas can come true. From family birthday parties to memorials or even for your business, Rivers Printing Shop will get it done. They are also the sole provider of all clothing for So Crooked NYC. Hit them up on Instagram at Rivers Printing Shop, or you can hit them directly at www.riversprintingshop.com. Tell them that So Crooked sent you. You know what I'm saying? This your man Bundles, my So Crooked Opinion podcast. Let's go. Rivers Printing Shop. Get your orders today.
Hail Mary full of grace, the Lord he fill a nigga. Yes. So that nigga called his son and then I killed that nigga. All my demons talk to me, Drake and live a killer. I ain't talking about no beef when we trigger niggas. I be so drunk I don't remember bitches. We grew up fucked up, we don't remember Christmas. So crack, so coke, broke, so. Pay poles in Soho, yeah I'm Soho. Too much consignment, hung myself with no rope. I back my bitch off of one line. Pussy so good it turned into sunshine. Lance was running from the one time. I got a good air, the boss man. Straight out of villain, the dynasty spilling. I need 100 million, and then another million. Big homie in the building, get money with a feeling. Nigga bought an O, hit the block and made a killing. Big and low, we still missing. My brother Lance is still sitting. Big Pyrex, 2 pots, no millions. Before I leave, rest in peace. My soul. Gang. Go. Wait, I Jada and his prime, I need his sneakers. Said fucking take it with an eye. Yeah, white girl, loving black dick. White Russian, white runs in a black ring. Yeah, Lord have mercy on the nigga fam. Lord knows I owe the plug another 20 grand. Recipes of niggas sick, niggas know the code. After lands, motherfuckers, yeah, they broke the mold. Devil put a line on the table when I sold my soul. That bitch put a mouth on my dick and I lost it. No matter what you think, shit is still different. Ain't no born, I'm still crippin', still trippin'. No lacking, but it's still hit him. Still missing. The hood still trippin'. Yeah. Forgive me, don't blame my nigga. Yeah. I'm out, I couldn't tame my nigga. Yeah. Armed up, I'm a danger nigga. Yeah. I pray the Lord you can save it, nigga. I pray the Lord you can save it. Wait out of it. The dynasty spilling. I need 100 million, and then another million. Big homie in the building, get money with a feeling. Nigga bought an O, hit the block and made a killing. Big and low, we still missing. My brother Lance is still sitting. Big pots, no millions.
We back another week. My So Crooked Opinion podcast, man. We back. Stiletto Diva, my sister. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Excuse me. I got the music playing in the background. I'm sorry, sis. How you doing today?
I'm fine. Good morning. Good
I'm
morning.
doing all right. We got a special episode today, man. We got a special episode. I feel like this one I really wanted to tap into because coming from where I come from and being around my surroundings and, you know, your surroundings too, sis, we deal with a lot of people that have been incarcerated, people that have been, you know, in the system. And sometimes, you know, some people feel like once they're in the system that they have to revert back to whatever they're doing to keep a living. And we're here to show people, and the people that's on the show today are here to show people that that's not the case, that you can make a life for yourself outside of the streets after incarceration. You can be a productive part of society. You know what I'm saying? And that's what today's show is about. You know what I'm saying? So how you feel?
You know, I love it. I'm all for it. I have family in and out the penitentiary, unfortunately. And what I love about these guests that we have that they didn't just stay in an inmate mentality. They didn't wait for chances to come to them. They created chances and they're making a difference. I love it. I love everything about it.
That's a fact. Without further ado, I'm gonna introduce the guest first and foremost. We got my brother Vic Sing Hope. How you doing today, bro? How's everything?
I'm good, bro. Thanks.
Welcome.
I appreciate you inviting me.
No problem, brother. Appreciate you, man. Definitely, man. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna start my man Todd Lucky Johnson. How you doing today, my brother?
Peace and blessings, King and Queen.
You already know.
Good
You already
morning.
know. Then we also got my brother, the bigger. I had to make sure I got his name right today.
The bigger, the big brother.
Listen, we got a lot of people on the show today, so y'all going to hear echo, so please bear with us. Just make sure that you stay focused on the task at hand. And we also got my brother, take his name on, Daryl Jermaine. Yes.
Queen, man, and all the guests on the show today.
Appreciate that. All right, so I'm gonna start it off with saying, first of all, salute to everybody that came and made this happen. I hit everybody up. I want to say within a week's notice, and everybody gave me like, "Yo, bundles, let's do it." So I definitely want to give y'all a salute for that, and just appreciate y'all. But before we get started, I got some questions that we got up here that we got from the people in the comments once we told them that we was going to do this show. So we're going to ask everybody one by one to introduce themselves, what they do, and then we're going to get right into the main topic questions, which is how did you end up in prison? How did you spend your time while in prison? What were your plans after prison, and where are you now in life? You know what I'm saying? We're going to start off with my man Todd Lucky Johnson. We're going to get right into it. Talk to the people, let them know who you are, what you got going on. And if you like, tell them how many years you were incarcerated and what you're doing now.
Okay. Peace and blessings to the peoples. My name is Todd Lucky Johnson. I'm an author / filmmaker. I mean, that's not a hard question, but it's like, I'm not sure if many people did like multiple bids, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard to answer that question because I did more than one bid, but
right.
Just for starters, decisions, man, in the environment, man, you know what I'm saying, in the time, you know what I'm saying, because I come from a different era growing up. Like right now we in the pandemic, I come from the epidemic, you know what I'm saying, when crack was an epidemic. And that was the time when crack was introduced to our communities, and it was a new drug, and many of our family members and relatives and stuff like that got caught up in it. And I was young at the time, so I made decisions based on that time. You know what I'm saying? The environment that I was in, I had to make decisions, grown-up decisions at a young age. So I caught my first bid at a young age. I caught my first bid like 13 years old.
Oh.
And from there, it was just, surviving and, just trying to figure it out. But at the same time, recidivism and all that, man. You know what I mean? That plays a major part in just, not having it all together, not having the information that I needed at that time to not continuously do biz. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, I'll leave it at that.
Got you. Respect, bro. Appreciate you. All right, we're going to go to my man Vic Sing Hope. Vic Sing Hope he's a younger brother from the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing I wanted to do too, because I wanted to tap in where we had brothers that were a little older than us and brothers our age, because the penal system don't have no age limit. It's not like you saying you're going to be 35 and that's the cap. There's people in there 80 years old, 18 years old. It varies, man. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get your aspect on it too, my brother.
Yeah, so as of right now, like with the whole like a lot of my work was surrounding like organizing and stuff like that, like with youth. But I felt like ever since the pandemic, like stuff been kind of like weird, like so I'm in a weird space right now. Right now, all I'm doing is like I do like YouTube. I'm a YouTuber. But yeah, I'm just in a space of trying to leave New York. Like I'm just really not messing with this mandate, and they're putting like a lot of constrictions on people. You know what I'm saying? So like I ain't with it. So I'd rather just leave. But that's kind of like the space I'm in.
How many years? How many years did you do, brother?
I did 7 years. So I got incarcerated. Just being in the streets, man. I started gangbanging at a young age, and like there's a misconception about gangs, right? Like the other brothers were saying, like, a lot of stuff just be provided, man. And we come from impoverished neighborhoods, usually single mother households.
Most definitely. Now I'm gonna get back to you in a second as far as life is concerned.
Going on, peace, whole world, man. Again, thank you for. As you guys know, man, 8 years in the corrections and stuff. I was so admitted that led to my fortunately, I was but I'm not but not to get to that, but yeah, so I went on something, go back, I filmed it, so now my still going, and actually this Johnson taught my first breaks as far on a web series on I always.
I don't know if it's me. I think you're going in and out just a little bit. Sis, let me know if it's going out just a little bit. I know you put in the comments.
I hear the echo.
You hear the echo? Yep. All right, we're going to try to fight through it, people, man. You know what I'm saying? Excuse us for the technical difficulties. There's a lot of people on the show today. So we wanted to get everybody on here, and we wanted to give them their time to shine. So you might hear some echoes. This is not normally what goes on in our podcast. It's usually a one-on-one, but bear with us. I'm sorry, Daryl. Go ahead, continue.
Now I just became a new actor. I'm with the union, and I'm up.
Definitely. We're going to have a group conversation. I just want to do all the introductions, and now we're going to get to my brother, the bigger, my nigga. Yo, bigger, we here.
You gotta forgive me, I'm at work.
Yes, sir.
But I'm going to give you the brief rundown. Your boy, the bigger. I'm a bank robber. Ex-bank robber.
Ex-bank robber, X.
Right, X.
Keyword X. Yeah, we not listen. Everybody that's on here is reformed and they doing their thing.
I didn't.
Oh, Big is moving around. All right.
I'm sorry,
brother.
You moving around a lot, Big.
Moving around. We lost you.
I'm sorry, but somebody just got shot in the hood. We had to go.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, damn. Yeah. All right, so now I'm going to ask y'all all the questions since we got everybody here. When you was coming up, before you got incarcerated, I would like to say that everybody's situation was sort of the same, whereas like, growing up in harsh situations and you had to make a decision. Whether that decision was right or wrong, at the end of the day, us especially as men, because these are all men that's on this panel right now. How do you feel the pressures of growing up led to your incarceration? Yeah, whoever wants to answer it first can answer it first. Todd, look, we're gonna start with you.
Question was what? Say that again, bro.
How do you feel like your upbringing led to your
Played a role.
incarceration? Yeah.
It played a major role in it. I'm quite sure it played a major role in everybody that's on this panel.
What's up?
You know, I'm from a small Vernon, and it's only 4 square miles, and
Yes, sir. Mount Vernon, New York. Salute.
you know, it's a very, very small town. But let me just say this real quick. I did my last bid. I did 10 years. From 1993 to 2003. I came home in 2003. What I learned on that bid was the small town that I was from. It was a lot of brothers from my neighborhood and from that actual county that was doing the bid. So it made me think, like, how can, you know what I'm saying, me be from a small town and the majority of people in that town is incarcerated. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm running into brothers I grew up with. I'm running into brothers that was from other towns that's, you know, allocated next to adjacent to my town. And it's like,
do you feel like it was normal?
Nah, it wasn't normal. It was abnormal, but it's like, it was a condition, man. It's designed. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't something that I had any control of. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, again, you know, when you come from environments such as the environments we grew up in, like the Bronx, Brooklyn, the boroughs and stuff like that, we all dealing with the same thing, man. Poverty, crime, you know what I'm saying? Single parent homes, you know, drug addiction and all those things. So all those things played a major role in the decision making, you know what I'm saying, that we had to make. And sometimes that decision making was poor decision making because it landed us in prison.
Right. Absolutely. See, for me, I've never been. I'm sorry, sis. You were saying something?
I was saying that there's not many alternatives.
None.
For people. And even if they are, they're not being available to people that look like us and people from the neighborhoods that we were from. So it's almost like, it's like a revolving door. Because you make it so that you can't survive, and it's a means to get money, and then lock them up, and then when you come home, it's like, oh, you were in prison.
That's all it's about. It's about money and politics. You know what I'm saying? Money and politics. That's why the majority of Black and Latinos populate the prison industrial system.
That's a fact. I want to touch on something that I know resonates with me growing up. When we was growing up, especially me being in the Bronx, going to jail was like a rite of passage. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dudes that went to college didn't get celebrated. The dudes that came home from prison was the ones that got the parties and the clothes and the money and what you would consider a starter kit. You know what I'm saying? And then us being young guys, I remember dudes my age was telling me that they was anticipating going to jail. Like, yeah, when I go to jail, I'm going to go get buff, I'm going to come home and this, that, and the allure of prison, even though people was trying to avoid it, it's kind of like they embraced it. Like, that's one of the milestones in the hood for some reason. So look, I want to, and I'm going to ask everybody, but look, what do you feel about that mentality?
Nah, you right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say it's a rite of passage, like we have to go through that, but many brothers, you know what I'm saying, young brothers do. It's like rap music, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's not a part of the culture, but the culture that we come from, you know, it's like it's no getting around it when you come from where we come from. Right. And I mean, I'm gonna just give you this example real quick. When I was coming up, man, the majority of my friends came from single parent households, right?
Right.
So when we was out the house at an early age, you know what I'm saying, 12 years old, 13 years old on the block and stuff like that, I I remember it was brothers that had mothers and their father in the crib, and you know, their mother might have been a doctor or their father might have been a lawyer, and they just wanted to be on the block. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have no major issues. They didn't have to go out on the block to get money because it wasn't no food in the refrigerator. Their moms was on an addict, or their father was an addict, or whatever. It was the decisions that they made. They wanted to be cool. They wanted to be a part of something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And you know, when brothers was going out doing shit, they wanted to be a part of that, but they didn't have to do that. They wanted to be a part of that. And many of those decisions that they made got them 25 years.
Wow.
Can I chime in?
Yes, sir. Bigger. The bigger. What's going on? Yes, you could definitely tap in, my brother.
Yeah, I'm just trying to I want to know what the question was.
The question was basically, I was telling Ty Luck that the allure of prison, growing up, the allure of prison was like very attractive, where people felt like going to prison was a rite of passage or a milestone, where the person that went to college didn't get embraced when he came home like the person from prison when he came home. So I wanted to know how you felt about the allure of prison to the youth.
Well, back then, I can speak for me. I didn't want to go to jail because I was hearing the story.
Mm-hmm.
Uncles, aunts, you know, they coming from jail. They telling me how they.
Right.
Did I listen? Because I let my wants, because it wasn't a need. I didn't need the stuff that I wanted. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I wanted gold teeth. I wanted jewelry. I wanted pellies. I wanted Avirex. I went out and got it.
Right.
One of my mans came to me and told me, I know how we could get it. Once it started from there, it just escalated. But then my want came needs. And I wasn't thinking about prison at all.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? I wasn't even thinking about getting locked up. I know it was a possibility, but I wasn't thinking about it. Nowadays, with the work I do, these kids, they say it. They're going to know about me before I get to jail.
So they already know that they're going.
They already know that they're going.
That's crazy. The fact that a kid, and when you say kids, what age group are we talking about here?
I'm talking 16 to 24.
So 16 to 24, they automatically just got to set in their mind, like at some point in time, I'm going in.
Already.
Now, is that based off of the lifestyle that they live in, or they just feel like that's the inevitable?
They know that they're not trying to do everything. Got to be fat. Everything.
Okay.
Everything got to be the fast way. I don't want to work at 9 to 5. I don't want to listen to nobody. So they really think them scamming, hustling. They think that this is their job. They really think this, but they know the life expectancy and the retirement plan for doing crime is either death or jail. They know this already.
And they accept that.
They accept it.
That's crazy.
I have a question I want to pose to everybody then.
Okay.
So because we can all agree that the youth of today is vastly different from our times growing up. So do you think it's not only the environment, but the things that they're exposed to on TV and music and the lifestyle that they see people portraying on social media? Do you think that plays a part in these kids? Like, listen, I'm going to jail, but I'm gonna get what I can get.
All right, we're gonna shoot over to Daryl Jermaine. We're gonna let him tap into that one that you just asked. Daryl, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, I can't hear you, but good.
Yeah, so the question is basically, do you think that due to the fact that you're an actor and you're somebody that's actually on TV and these kids are watching, do you feel like the music and the television is giving the allure of prison, where people feel like especially in our community, the black community. They feel like it's okay, or that's just something that they got to look forward to because of basically how we are so loosely depicted on television.
Nah, a little bit. A little bit. Television. It it can be to certain things, react
Right.
a certain type of way. So yeah, I it do have an effect on the community where we come from. But I think this can start within home. Within with home with the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got when a kid is born, nothing about violence, disrespect. They just know that mommy, daddy, or whoever, grandma. So it starts with, and but some of these parents nowadays, like they're
It's crazy that you say that because some of the illest cats that I know come from the strictest of households.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you meet a lot of like quote unquote gangsters or thugs or anything like that, if you look at their backstory, 9 times out of 10 they come from, even though it's poverty stricken, they still come from decent households. You know what I'm saying? Where the parents, you know what I'm saying, where the parents feel like, hold on, go ahead, big, I'm off for baby, go ahead.
No, I just was adding on to what you said. I'm gonna say real gangsters.
Okay.
Them play gangsters that we see, they don't be coming from good homes a lot of time. They've been raised by TV and social media.
I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Like one of the hardest guys that I knew, God bless the dead, he was taken away from us about 2 or 3 years ago. I met his mother for the first. His mother and father and his stepfather. It was just like the Cosbys. Like you out here doing this for what? Like you didn't have to. Like it was just like.
But it's like Luck said earlier. It was the allure of out being outside. You felt like you felt like you had a purpose. You felt like you was a part of something. You felt like you got respect. People respected you. So most of the time, at least back in their era, we're gonna touch on Vic St. Hope in a minute because he's a little younger. It wasn't necessarily about the want. Like you didn't actually need, because all the brothers we talking to right now, they basically said the same thing. Like they didn't really have to if they didn't want to, but just being young, being impressionable, being outside, the allure of being outside, they chose certain things and it ended them up incarcerated. But now them as older gentlemen, since we spoke to everybody, they realized like that was foolish at the end of the day. And unfortunately, they didn't have to. Luck, I know Luck. I got family that's connected to Luck. I know Luck's backstory. And for all those that are listening, you can actually watch his story on YouTube on the web series called Mister. Make sure you tap into that. Also starring the brother Daryl Jermaine. He's he actually plays Luck in the web series. You know what I'm saying? So now before we touch back in on them, we're gonna get a younger perspective because Vic St. Hope is a little younger than the other gentleman that's on the panel, and he comes from a different spectrum. Hold on 1 second, but we're gonna touch on Vic St. Hope real quick. Hope, what's good, baby?
So the brother was saying, like, I feel like a lot of them dudes that came from good home, they had to like really prove a lot. You know what I'm saying? So like it's like a black cop, right? The black cop in the institution, he gotta overly prove himself to the white cops that he's not gonna show favoritism. So a lot of times the black cop be a little more fucked up than the regular white cops, right? So back to the hood, it's like when I was growing up, like one thing I noticed from working with young people, they don't want to be told what to do. I didn't want to be told what to do. And I think that's the problem with a lot of older people. They want to tell, just because you lived through something, don't give you the right to tell the younger dudes what to do. They want to be treated like young men, young adults, and they want to have the options to make their own decisions. And noticing that, working with these young men, a lot of them, don't have no trust in older people because older people been violating since forever, right? We don't listen to young people. We don't take into account what they go through, their feelings, and how shit is going. I remember the police harassing me. My mother's not, she wasn't born here, she's an immigrant, right? And I remember telling my mother that I was being harassed by the police, and she didn't believe me. And that just shattered me. Like the fact that I got locked up by the police because they was just harassing me, right? It was Pop and Frisk at the time. There was a lot of crazy shit going on. And I remember getting
Wow.
locked up one time, and I told my mother, like, I didn't do nothing. Like, and my mom came to the police on a pit store. Like, the police not gonna lock you up for nothing. And I was just like, wow, that shit just hurt me. You feel me? So like certain things that goes on in the household and you can't talk to your mom. A lot of women can't understand men. A woman can't raise a man. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? She can do the best she can, but she can't understand you. You know what I'm saying? We think different. So that propel you even more to go to the street, to hang out with the brothers that don't understand you, to hang out with the homies, right? So and then there's a lot of anger because I was upset that she didn't believe me. So now you
Mm,
taking out your anger in the street, right? I was gangbanging, like I was in, doing robberies and doing certain shit. But like I thought I was doing something good because I was fighting against an oppressive gang, right? When I first moved to my projects, I didn't bother nobody. They was fucking with me. So
Right.
so that led me to join the rival gang to fight against them. So a lot of times we just survival. I know in my era, dudes was joining cliques because sometimes you move to a projects, right? And then the project is like, well, you gonna join our clique or what? And a lot of times you either gonna fight against them by yourself or you just gonna join them. So it's just a survival thing. And I
right.
think that like in my era there was a lot of cliques. It was not just Blood and Crip. It was YG. It was YB. It was Bronx Homicide Gang. It was GFC. It was like every project had like a own little clique. And then there was
Yeah.
little alliances. So it was a lot of that stuff. So if you was by yourself around that time, like you was gonna have a hard time. You was go to high school with the wolves. You people wasn't really working, right? But
Everywhere
like
you go, you
yeah,
step out your house is an instant war zone.
yeah, so it was very crazy in the Bronx. So a lot of people have to pick sides, right? Like, so it was very tough. So I would just say that like I don't think I like, and I think a lot of times we have to go away from blaming the environment. The environment does play a role, but I got to be accountable to myself. I got to be
That's true.
accountable to my actions at the end of the day. And
That's
and I
true.
see that now. When you're younger, you can't really foresee
Yeah, I
where
was
you're
gonna
gonna
say
end
that
up.
when you're younger,
You know what I'm saying?
you
You
might
just
know the right path, but your mind is impressionable when you're young, and especially like you just said earlier, you if single parent, even if sometimes if you got both parents, but if you're not connecting with your parents, you're gonna find that connection someplace else.
because this is the last thing I'm gonna say, right? Even though I became a gangbanger and I was out there in the streets doing what I was doing, I had signs, bro. I clearly seen signs that told me I should not go down this path. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like I literally seen it and I ignored it. You know what I'm saying? I chose to keep going in a certain direction, right? Because again, a lot of stuff is peer pressure, right? Like if
Right.
you don't want to fight, if you don't when you don't want to do certain things, the man's gonna be like, "Oh, you pussy, or you soft, or you this, or you that." So a lot of times you give in to shit just because everybody doing it. Just like people are losing their virginity because everybody else is talking about sex, and it's not cool to be a virgin. So it's kind of like the same thing for young men, right? So like being in the street, gang banging, putting in work, and so forth.
That's a great analogy. Bigger, I want to talk to you too because you are a person that deal with gang members and things of that nature. How do you feel about what the brother was saying as far as like with the gangs?
I couldn't really hear him, but how I deal with guys and gangs is first thing I tell them is uh, I don't do what everybody else does. I do not tell them do not be a part of your gang.
Right.
I don't tell them to leave your gang. And when you tell a young person to leave their gang or brotherhood or however they view it, that's like telling bundles, leave your wife,
Right. Ain't happening.
let her leave your son. us is the equivalent in their mind.
Okay.
I know because I come from this work. I tell them if they're going to do it right. And they always say, well, big homie, how you do it right? How many people in your hood have you fed? How many people in your community, the little homies that need help, how many of them have you taken care of?
Right.
Are you securing the hood first?
Right.
I'm not talking about you getting your money. We're going to talk about that next. Because I got to have something to replace that with. So I can't tell you to stop hustling.
Right.
But what I can do is tell you how to bang the right way. So I do not tell them that. I love the organizations. I love the gangs. I love the brotherhoods. But I love the potential of it. What it's really supposed to be.
When they use the powers for good.
When you're using the power to take care of the hood.
So how do you feel? How do you feel that they should do that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, we can talk about it. We could do all of the marching and things like that. Where does it start? Does it start with the big homies?
It start with the big homies.
Okay.
It's a format to that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to bring up other gang leaders or gang influences, but Larry Hoover had a good formula to an extent. To an extent. Y'all hustle. Secure the hood, make sure everything good. On Tuesday, that's my day. Whatever you make on that day, you look out for me.
As far as the community, you mean?
As far as the community goes.
Okay.
What happened now is so many dudes that got rims. Oh, I'm so and so. You ever see anybody any gang members greet each other? I'm so and so.
Yeah.
So from XYZ.
Well, as far as I know, that was the introduction. As far as like, I'm not a gang member, but I grew up around a lot of Bloods. I grew up in the Castle Hill Soundview section. Right. So, you know, especially when it comes to the Bloods, they greet each other in a very machismo way, a very loud way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And especially if it's somebody that they just meeting for the first time, the aggression is on an all-time high because they trying to show each other that they tough or whatever. But
they gotta let it be known that they got rings. Okay. And so many dudes got rings. So many. I met a dude the other day. This dude is 22. I told the little homie, take me to who brought you home. Let me talk to him.
Okay.
He takes me right at the block to somebody that I already know.
And I said,
you telling me that young boy right here, this your GF? He like, yeah.
All right, so let's touch on that because Lux said something earlier, like, you know, him being outside and being around certain individuals put him in certain predicaments. Now, you just said that you just met a homie that just came home to whatever gang that he just came home to, but the person that he's technically under is not somebody that's a stand-up individual, if that's what you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? So, one, how do the gangs orchestrate? And I'm asking Vic, Saint Hope, and I'm asking Bigger too. How do we change the infrastructure to where certain people that don't have certain mentalities cannot be in position to move forward? You can't have somebody that's a derelict or somebody that ain't really been through nothing and just want to be the man just cause as your leader, because that's going to be a road to destruction in any given situation. If they just want to lead just because just to say that they're the leader, there's a lot of responsibility in being a leader. There's a lot of consequences in being a bad leader. So what do you think as far as the gangs is concerned, I'm gonna touch more on you, Luck, in a second. What do you think, as far as the gangs' infrastructure and leadership, needs to be changed to move forward?
I think whoever's blessed in, I think whoever is given the go ahead, given the green light for that person to get their own hood, or give them some rent, I think they need to analyze the qualities in that person. I think right now what's going on is dudes is getting rims and getting hoods because they can fight or they bust their gun.
No real community work just because, you know, they feel like they're a top dog as far as violence is concerned.
You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to take all of it because I want the young homie to I want him to take some of it too. See what he's
we're gonna ask Vic St. Hope the same question, brother. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you can use a destructive vehicle to, you know what I'm saying, like try to bring some type of like hope to the community. Like I just think the same way we talk about eradicating the prison system and the police, we don't say, oh, we're gonna use the police and you know make them better. And you know what I'm saying? A lot of people be talking this, we got to get rid of them, right? We got to dismantle the whole system. We got to change up the whole. So
Yeah.
I think we romanticize gangs. We say, oh, gangs was created for something positive for the community, and then
I
they
was
went
gonna
bad.
touch on
No,
that. Isn't that what it started as? Like Crips was what?
no, that's not true. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a narrative that we be pushing around because so we can make an excuse to some extent.
Okay.
If you really read Tookie Williams' book, right, and the Crips came out before the Bloods, right? So if you really read Tookie Williams' book, he said we wasn't on no revolutionary shit. He said we didn't even use big ass words like that. You know what I'm saying? He said we was just a bunch of young dudes, you know what I'm saying, clicked up to defend ourselves from other cliques and to take over the neighborhood. He said we wasn't talking about police brutality. You gotta understand, gangs was already out around the same time the Black Panthers was out. The Mickey Cobras in Chicago, the GDs, like these gangs was already out, right? When the Black Panthers was out. So when people try to give us this narrative that, oh, the gangs formed after the Black Panther demise, that's not true.
All right, look, I want to ask you something because, look, you're a little older. From you being incarcerated in jail and things like that, how was the structure of gangs compared to what you've seen out in the world?
Wasn't no gangs when I was doing bids. When I did my first bid,
wasn't no gangs.
It wasn't no.
What year was this?
It wasn't no. It wasn't no blood and Crip in New York until maybe 1993.
93. Okay.
That's when I think the Bloods formed on the island. But when I was up north, and I was doing my last bid, which was in 95, well 93, but I went up north in 95. I was in Clinton, Dannemora, New York, and there was no Bloods there. There was nobody claiming nothing. The only gangs you had was the Nietas, the Latin Kings. I'm talking about New York. I'm not talking about LA and Chicago and other parts. I'm talking about New York.
Right.
So they classified. I'm a part of the Nation of Guards and Earths as well. You know what I'm saying? They classified us as a gang at one point.
Right.
In the prison industrial complex system. Around 97, 96, 97, a lot of Bloods came from Rikers Island and populated the NYC, what do you call it? New York State Correctional Facilities.
Okay.
So I saw the transition. You know what I mean? Literally saw the transition happening. Now, I think we're talking about gangs now. You know what I mean, we were talking about incarceration before, but we talking about gangs. My heart of hearts, I feel like this, man. Gangs always existed, man. You know what I mean? That if you look at it's a movie called Gangs of New York that Gangs existed in the 1800s. You know what I'm saying? So this concept of gangs is nothing new. And like the young brother was saying, a lot of gangs did branch off from the when the Black Panthers was dismantled. A lot of gangs branched off from that. You know what I'm saying? Oakland and stuff like that. But I just wanted to touch on. I don't want to be all over the place, but I wanted to touch on a couple of things before. I feel like this, man. When you're young, you know, the young brother was saying you don't want to hear nothing. That's a fact. You when you're young, you like 13 years old, you start becoming rebellious. You don't want to hear your parents, everybody saying something to you. You don't want to hear it. You know everything, but that's the problem. A lack of information. You know what I'm saying? You can't be 13 years old, 12 years old, 15 years old with the understanding of a 45-year-old or 40-year-old or 39-year-old. You haven't experienced life to have an understanding yet. So
exactly.
You're gonna make decisions based on what you know. And if you don't know too much, then your decisions is gonna be based on that. So
let me ask you this,
find yourself.
Don't you think it's a repetitive conversation? For instance, it's like everybody has the same story. We're young, we don't want to hear the old heads, then we go through our stumble. Then we become the old heads trying to teach the youth. They don't want to hear us. Then they go through their stumble.
But bundles, when you become older, you start seeing yourself in the young brothers. You know what I'm saying? You start seeing your mistakes. I'm 48 years old right now. I see all my fuck ups now and realize them shits was fuck ups. But when I was fucking up, I ain't know they was. I ain't know. I just thought I was doing what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? To survive, to make it. You know what I mean?
How do you feel like the dialogue?
Oh man, I mean, to be honest, if I could turn back the clock, I would do shit different. But being that I can't, I wouldn't even change how I had to do it because
it made
you.
You
know what I'm saying? It made me who I. Yeah, it gave me character. It built character.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when we young, man, you know, don't. Like Farrakhan said, like these young brothers is our warriors right now. They just don't got guidance. They don't got the information. They don't, and then the big homies, the so-called big homies, the OGs or whatever have you, they acting like they young kids. You know what I'm saying? They not trying to give out the information. They not trying to tell the young brothers what it is. Like,
do you think it's a level of acceptance?
Yeah, prison is slavery, man. Being in prison, you're a slave.
Modern day slavery.
Modern day slavery. It's you're opening up your butt cheeks. You're going on visits. You know what I mean? You're being like, it's like you're losing your manhood. Like you know what I'm saying? Like being in prison. Like it's not a cool thing to do. And people think that when you come home, like you said earlier, motherfuckers want to throw you parties. Motherfuckers want to give you money and shit because you held it down. You ain't, you know what I mean? You ain't rat. You kept it 100. But all actuality, they don't know what you was going through in that prison. You probably was losing your motherfucking mind in there. Losing your moms probably had passed away. Your kid probably got killed while you was in prison. All kind of shit. That shit is not it's a reality that you shouldn't want to have to live. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm kind of like a little all over the place because there's a lot of things I wanted to say.
You on track, brother. All this falls under the same realm. I want to touch on something that you said, and I want everybody to answer. You was saying like, you know, you didn't tell. Right now in today's era, telling is becoming comfortable. You got guys like 6ix9ine, you know what I'm saying, Troy Ave. You got all these different people that are trying to make it normal to snitch. Now, I want to ask you, before we touch on the snitch topic, before we touch on that, I want to ask you, there's a big conversation between a pedestrian telling versus somebody snitching. Can somebody really break down the analogy versus a pedestrian telling and snitching?
A citizen. A citizen. Yeah, citizen is a person like, you know, if snitching is basically when you break the rules, man. When you involved in the shits. You know what I'm saying? And you go against
And
the
then you
rules.
tell. And then you
Then you
tell. There's a
tell.
big difference
We're
between
not talking
But
about
if you're not a part of anything, and you
right.
just minding your business, and somebody get their head blown off in front of
those.
you, you're obligated to do your duty as a citizen and tell. You know what I'm saying?
But if you was a part of that, you set it up,
Yeah, but if you
and
involved
you
in that
telling,
hit,
you a
or
snitch.
yeah, you involved in that hit, or you involved in that crime, or you involved in whatever conspiracy, then you gotta hold that down because you signed up for that.
Vic, what
Like,
you think, brother? I know you was
like
waiting.
I always say, right? I always say there's two types of snitches, right? There's the snitch that be running around doing shit to people, shooting people, stabbing people, robbing people, and then somebody catches ass, and then somebody catches ass, shoot him, and then they tell, right? And then there's the other snitch that just be involved. It could be just drugs. It could just be like, involved in some type of crime, and then they get knocked up, and then they cooperate against some other shit they know so they can get out, right? And then there's the regular civilian, right? The person that, like my mom, like the person that she get robbed, she's supposed to call the police. And I think they blurring the lines in society today. When Meg Thee Stallion supposedly got shot by Tory Lanez, everybody was calling her a snitch. It was like, oh, she's a snitch. She told them Tory. And I'm like, y'all got this shit fucked up. If you think
Right.
that's some snitch, like if she got home, she's supposed to tell the police. What's she supposed to do? People,
All right, so Megan Thee Stallion is an entertainer at the end of the day. So she's not held at the same level of scrutiny as, like you said, like a person that's being outside, being a criminal or whatever like that. Now, with her being
No, that
go ahead, sis, go ahead.
you shoot me, I'm telling. The fuck?
No, what I mean is, you see how he mentioned Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion is an artist. She is a recording artist. She's an entertainer. So she got shot and she told. So that is not a level of snitching. But now, on the retrospect, you have rappers that are in the same realm. They're entertainers. They're rappers. They're people that are providing a service. This is their job. But we hold a rapper to the same level of a street cat, even if he's not necessarily rapping about street stuff. Like, you just can't tell as a rapper. You will be considered a rap off top. Hold on, Bigger. I'm gonna mute you, my brother.
Now, if he's talking, killing up, bang, bang, throwing up gang signs, you done flip the G, you done turn the quarter into this and that. Nigga, you know you should step the fuck up.
Right.
that's
I'm not
art,
talking
though.
about Earl, who you done got in the car with, and you didn't tell him you had a gun, and he's giving you a drive from work. We're not talking about him.
Okay.
Earl should not take that charge for you.
Right.
But now, if you told Earl, yo, Earl, I got a gun on me, and he say, get it anyway, let's ride out, y'all might have to fight that together. But
All
if
right,
you
so
tell Earl, nigga, you gotta own your shit, or Earl gonna tell him.
Yo, hold on, bundles. Hold
My
on,
fault.
bundles. So
Yeah.
look, with that same mentality, right? Because let's say us, we're not in the streets no more. We're not doing none of that. So what is our position, right? Because a lot of times people look at it like, motherfucker, you did time. Like, we ain't trying to hear you a civilian. We ain't trying to hear you. When you get into a situation, you're still supposed to hold it down. People got that mentality. So, so what is a person like us supposed to do, right? In situations like that, are we still supposed to live by the code, or are we like that's my question? Because people still hold us to
question.
the same accountability and as the
You're
life
still a
that he was living.
human. You still a human being. People change.
As for me, I'm just saying for me, I'm not gonna say nothing. But your respect and knowing who I be and knowing who I am, you should own that shit.
You should.
I
But if
feel
we get
like
locked
for
How many
me,
people are stand-up niggas though?
I
How many
feel
stand-up niggas are there really out here?
it ain't even about being a stand-up nigga. You gotta be true to yourself. Like I said, I've never been to prison. I've done a couple overnights in the bookings and things like that, but I've never been to prison. But at the end of the day, you still got a responsibility to yourself. For instance, I was having a conversation with somebody about the whole 6ix9ine thing, and they was like, "Yo, what would you do if you was facing all that time and this and the third?" And my honest response was, I would never be in that position. I would never put myself in that position to go through that. You know what I'm saying? If I got friends that is gang members on both sides of the spectrum, blood, Crip, you name it, I got friends that's in it. But at the end of the day, my standpoint is my standpoint. When y'all getting ready to go ride out and do all that and this and the third, y'all get it with y'all later. You know what I'm saying? It ain't never no situation where I'm going to just go to be down. Yo, y'all about to go do that? Y'all get it with y'all in a minute. I used to tell my friends all the time, like, I'm the fighter. I'll fight somebody all day long. I'm not with that gun shit. You know what I'm saying? And all my friends know that. And they respect that because at the end of the day, I didn't try to be something I'm not. I didn't try to say and say, yeah, give me the grip. It's whatever. I stayed true to myself. I understood what I was capable of doing. For instance, my father did 10 years in prison. He came home from jail. He dropped one of the illest jewels on me. I'm not saying that anybody should do this, but this is what he told me. He said, son, if you ever catch yourself doing a crime and your back is against the wall where the police is getting ready to get you, calculate whatever you did and how much time you're willing to get. If you feel like you can't hold that and you going to tell, jump off a goddamn roof. That's exactly what he told me. That's exactly what he told me.
I just think it's when I was saying like it's a stand-up person. If you in a car with somebody and the tool is in there and you don't know,
right?
You gonna take that charge?
If the tool is in the car
and you don't know about it. If
no, I'm not.
Like full fucking disclosure. Right.
No, I'm not.
If it wasn't like full disclosure, you get in my car, you know, 8 out of 10 times you let that shit here. But we good because it's legal.
But that should go back to the level of responsibility. Like I said, there's a level.
You knowing that it's mine, I'm not gonna be like, oh, nah, we're gonna both hold that down, and whoever they catch with it, who they catch with it. No,
it's a level. It's a level of responsibility. We all, as a people, have a level of responsibility. I don't mean to cut you off, like I see you talk. I'm gonna let you get it. We all have a level of responsibility as people. You being somebody that I know, somebody I consider a friend, if you're really my friend, you're going to inform me of whatever incriminating stuff is in this vehicle. If you're my real friend.
Right.
And you, that's their responsibility as your friend to tell you. Now, your responsibility is to know who exactly it is that you're dealing with. Is this a type of person that's going to put you in a compromising position without informing you first? If you feel like that's the type of person that person is, you need to get away from that person.
Absolutely.
Straight up and down.
But my whole thing is like, is you taking it?
Well, once you tell somebody, you already putting them in a situation. Because look, let's say, for example, if I tell you, right, and you the driver, right, this your vehicle, and I be like, your bundles, I got some shit on me. You know, you can't, I mean, you could tell the police, I don't know, but you know. So at some point, I'm putting you in the situation. Like, for example, if I jumped in your V and I got something on me and I don't tell you, you best believe I'm going to hold my shit down because that's just me as a man. I'm not going to, I'll tell you like, yo, stop the car. I'll get out the car, do my thing, run, do whatever the hell I got to do. I just feel like when you tell somebody, like for me, like the brother said, he's not going to say nothing. With me, I heard some shit that Master P said, right? He said, yo, a motherfucker got 3 days to come clean and tell the motherfucking people it was his shit. You know what I'm saying? He said he got 3 days. He said, I'm not taking shit for you. I don't care what they call me, what they say.
That's a lot of time. 3 days.
He said, yo, you got 3 days to come clean. After that,
so
I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
All right, so now I'm gonna touch on, like I said, I'm glad that we all talking because we got the young, and then we got the older gentleman too. Luck, I want to get your aspect on that type of situation.
Got hammers in the car, and we get knocked. Then we know we got to take that responsibility. But if you're getting in my car and you tell me, yo, I got something on me, it's my decision to make. Yo, you can't do that, bro. I don't want you in the car because or you gotta drop that off before you get in the car. This eliminates, you know what I mean, you like it's an awkward situation when me and my bro, man, we got pulled over one time, and I had wild weed in the trunk, and he had some grams on him. So we get pulled over, whatever have you. The dogs is out. They don't find nothing. Make a long story short, the dogs find the weed. Now it's my weed, but I know we both dirty. But don't nobody want to take, you know what I mean? Don't nobody. So you just gotta, like, if it's your shit, you gotta own up to it at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? That's just the responsibility you got. Like, when you sign up for this shit, I'm gonna just say it like this: when you sign up for this shit, it's no telling. You're not supposed. Those are the rules. Now, rules get broken every time. That's why you got cats that snitch and tell on people and But when you sign up for this shit, technically, you supposed to hold whatever it is. Like, if you come out the house, it's niggas on the block. You come out the house, you're a young kid, you on the block every day. Somebody walk up to you one day, smack the shit out you. Yo, you signed up to be on that block, man. So it's things that come with being on that block. Now, you can come out the house and walk to the store and do what your mama say every day and come back in the house and don't affiliate with nobody on the block. You get a pass for that. You just a kid in the neighborhood that's, you know, people know you, they see who you is. Yo, go to school, bro. Do what you got to do. Play football, But when you on that block every day and then something happens to you, whether it be you getting locked up, whether you getting smacked, whether somebody testing you, whatever the situation, you signed up for that.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? So
I'm gonna bring up a subject when it come to what you're saying. Like, for me, I was a kid that was outside. I was 100% outside. I was hanging out with the gangsters, with the drug dealers, and all that situation. Now, for me, they knew I was more into basketball, but I still hung out with them, you know what I'm saying? But then when things used to get deep, like if they had beef on the block or if they was making sales or whatever, they'll tell me, like, yo,
don't be
get
around.
out of here. Yeah, Ant, get out of here. Like, yo, go to the park or whatever. There's people, I feel like today, we lost that as a community. We don't really got nobody really telling us, like, yo, listen, we doing this over here, yo, go over there. If anything, they kind of bringing you more into it, and they're not teaching you what Luck just said, as far as like you are a part of this now. You are outside, so with you being outside, there's certain criteria that is called of you. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not necessarily doing it, you're around it. So if you feel like you're going to be put in a position where you have to tell you, just get away from it. You know what I'm saying? The world is bigger than your block. My fault, Vic.
I was gonna say, like, sometimes the hood is so infected with shit, bro, that it don't mean you playing the game. For example, I could go to the park, right? Like there was this park that was considered the Crip Park in my neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could go to the park and just play basketball, bro, and just be playing basketball. It's dudes there recruiting, it's dudes there smoking, it's dudes there drinking. This is a public park. So if we're going to use that analogy and you're going to tell me, yo, go to a different park. The other park, the Bloods was in the other park.
Got the Bloods.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like we can't just put it on the individual sometimes, because these dudes are holding the neighborhood hostage. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I just come out of my building and go to the store, it's a possibility I was going to get slapped or going to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, these dudes was robbing neutral people, regular people. So they're not making a distinction. In certain eras, like you said, Bundy, there were men that were doing that, right? You're not going to fuck with him, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, you got people today, right? They're robbing your grandmother. They're running. How many times we hear stories about older people getting their check taken?
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, these dudes don't have no morality. So sometimes if you willingly go into a neighborhood or to a block that you know they're going through shit, that's one thing. But nowadays, bro, you can come out the house and dudes are standing in front of your building. When I was growing up, that's what dudes was doing. You got to walk through them, right? Now, let's say they don't want to move. You say, excuse me, they don't want to move. You're going to get into something. So now I got to hold it down, right?
So you
Let's
think
just
that's the is that the individual or is that the era that we're in?
I think it's different eras.
Shit like that happens, but in reality, you know, I understand what the brother's saying. Shit like that happens, but 9 times out of 10, man, you know, a young brother knows what he wants to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you come out that building, you see them brothers in front of your building every day. There's somebody that sees you, that rank or a reputation or whatever, that just know, like, yo, he not us, man. He going to the store for his moms, man.
Right.
So I'm not like, you could walk out your building and get hit by a car, straight bullshit happens. What I'm saying is, when you sign up for this shit, I'm not talking to niggas that don't know. I'm talking to niggas that know. When you sign up, when you want to be involved, when you want to join the gang, when you want to be a part of that shit that attract you, them niggas with the shines on, with the chains, with that dress fly, that got the cars. When you want to be like that and you do everything in your power to be amongst those people, just know it's shit that come with that. So when they come, don't say, oh, I'm telling on these niggas because or it wasn't supposed, this wasn't supposed to happen to me. Nah, you was on that block. You wanted to be a part of that. This is the shit that come with this game. I just want to touch on this Outpost shit real quick. A lot of people look at homie like he a piece of shit. Yeah, he a piece of shit. He a piece of shit. You know what I mean? He killed his friend and shit like that. But at the end of the day, in this game, ain't no fucking rules, man. Ain't no rules.
And to
You know
an
what I'm saying? This is the
extent,
shit
ain't no fucking friend.
this is the shit that happened when you playing this game. Is it fucked up? Hell yeah, it's fucked up. But when you in this shit, if I'm an armed robber and I got a team and we about to go take some paper, or like homie said, he a bank robber or used to be a bank robber. When you in that car with a whole bunch of killers or niggas that if the car get pulled over, they got to go down. Right. So at the end of the day, ain't no when the car get pulled over, yo, let me out, man. Nah, nigga, you signed up for this shit.
Yo, it happened in Boys in the Hood. They let
me out. He wasn't a killer.
That was a movie. That was a movie.
And that was a movie.
But I will say that I have been out. I will say that I have been out with people before, and like I said before, if it's a fight, if we knuckling up, you ain't got to tell me nothing. We going full speed ahead.
You pulled the Ricky,
but
You pulled the Ricky.
I pulled the Ricky a couple times. I pulled the Ricky a couple times, bro. But I'm gonna put it like this.
There ain't nothing wrong with putting the Ricky if you in.
That's a fact.
Like if you not. See, Ricky was who the dude was that was swinging at the end shit. What the nigga name was?
That was Ricky. No, that wasn't Ricky. That was
Right, so, yeah, Ricky's the one that died.
Ricky the one that died.
Not
I forgot
Cuba Gooding Jr. We know that. We know that it was Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah. All right. So when they let homie out the car, right?
Trey.
It's a movie, but when they let him out the car, they knew he wasn't about that life.
He wasn't a killer.
You know
That's what I'm getting at.
Now, check it real quick. If they wouldn't have let him out the car and they would have got caught, he would have been the nigga to tell.
I don't think he would have told, but
I don't think he would have told.
He not built for that.
At the end of the day, you wasn't 100% sure that he wasn't. This is the thing. It's like,
I ain't a killer, but
when there was situations where my people was about to get busy, and I was like, yo, I'm out. They never questioned it because at the end of the day, like Luck just said, even though y'all may be looking at me like y'all want me to be, y'all gotta look out for yourselves. He's telling us that he's not built for this. Why would we force him to be a part of this where he could potentially telling us later?
Because look, back to the era thing. Like Luck is talking about. He could talk about his era. You understand what I'm saying? Like when you.
No, I'm even talking about just. I ain't mean to cut you off, Vic. I'm even talking about right now. As being an OG. Let's say if you're an OG of Little Homies, If you can look in your little homie face and know that he not built like that, why even put him down?
Bro, well, you gotta understand, different eras. The dudes that are leading today are not looking at it like that. You gotta understand, right? Crime,
At
to a
all.
certain extent, like for example, when I was in prison, right, there was a lot of bloods. A lot of bloods were not shooters. A lot of them. A lot of them were not shooters. So you know what the homies did? They used to force. They used to force people to shoot people. They used to be like, "Yo, either you cut him or I'm gonna cut you." So
Yeah,
this
I
is what
remember
they
that.
used to do to these dudes. They used to put pressure on them to go out there and shoot somebody. So just with that, no, but this is the thing. I get that, but
Exercise,
look,
you gotta prove that you with this shit.
no, but look, I get that, but this is the thing. When you go out there and force somebody, now this dude is scared. You basically, he don't want to go against the whole gang, but he's scared because, like Bundle said, you know they didn't have it in them. You know, the Bloods, the earlier Bloods, they wanted it. It was tough. It was beef with the Latin Kings, with the Puerto Ricans. It was a racial shit going on. You know what I'm saying? They had to do what they had to do. They had to be savages. Today, you don't got to do that shit. Today, that shit is, you want to be down. Back then, it was survival for them dudes. So a corner rat is going to be vicious. You know what I'm saying? You corner any animal is going to be vicious. It was a different mentality. It was a different era. Today, people are doing it because they think it's cool. Like, you know
The
what I'm saying?
clout.
They think it's, you know what I'm saying? They don't understand. They don't, when I tell some of the stories on YouTube, people be thinking this shit is a movie. You don't understand. And the older people, the older you are, the crazier the movie was. When people hear Alpo's story, they be like, yo, this shit, they can't believe that shit. So it's as the ever changes, you got these OGs, they're not looking at you like, well, you know, he looked like he can't take the shit. No, you don't have a lot of people that are willing in the forefront to just go out there and do stupid shit. A lot of these kids
Do
get
they feel
drugged.
like they could train you?
I feel like this is what happens, right? I feel like the young people are not listening to the older people, and the older people are not listening to the young people. So you got everybody doing whatever the hell they want to do. Why do you think these young gangbangers be like, ain't nobody telling me shit? I do whatever I want to do. They don't have no structure.
I think it's
So
the representation.
it's all of that.
Because, like,
Yo,
if you were, for instance, let's just say Young Jeezy came to the hood. Do you think that them cats from your neighborhood is going to hold on to every word that Young Jeezy said?
It depends.
And Young Jeezy being a Crip?
I think it depends. I think a lot of times it's how he comes, his approach. If he comes to the hood and he be like, yo, I'm trying to put y'all on to some game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Boom, 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 boom. That's one thing. But if he came on something like, y'all niggas not real Crip, you know what I'm saying? I got stamped from whatever. Who's gonna look at you like, fuck out of here? You can't, you know what I'm saying? It's all how you approach the situation.
No, what I mean by that is that, like you said, the young guys is not trying to listen to the older guys. I feel like the young guys are not trying to listen to the older guys because the older guys are in the same position that they're in. So they looking at it like, how you gonna try to give me advice and you standing right here next to me?
That's a fact
But
too.
if it's a situation where somebody made it out, like you seen this person that was in your environment and now you see them someplace else where they living good and they doing things for themselves, I feel like you'll gravitate and hold on to what they're saying more because you seen their elevation. You seen where they were sitting right there on the corner with you. Now they just coming through visiting. So when he talk to you, you're going to be all ears versus somebody that live on the same block as you upstairs trying to give you advice. You going to looking like, yo, how you trying to give me advice on how to better myself and you sitting right here with me?
It's also like this, right? You can't tell me stop selling drugs if you can't give me a job. You know what I'm saying? If you can't put money in my pocket, if you can't make sure that I'm going to be protected, you know what I'm saying? If you can't, the person that, and this is the problem all the time. Yeah, you could tell me, yo, I did 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Boom, 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 boom. But like, what is my alternative, right? Like, can I move out the hood? Can I go somewhere else? Can I get a good job? Can I, you know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of times I can't tell nobody, yo, stop selling drugs. Because what am I providing for this person as an alternative?
I'm glad you touched on that. 1 second.
I have a question.
What's up?
As two gentlemen, I think we lost some people, but it's two gentlemen who have been in prison, right? So if you could go back to the prison and because we're in a whole new world right now. Everything is a little chaotic still. Um, and they're coming home. What would be your message? Like, what is the jewels that you would tell somebody to readjusting and realigning themselves coming out of prison? What would you share with them to prepare them to ease that transition?
To answer your question, it's this that you got to be on your shit. You can't tell no if you're not a brain surgeon, you know what I'm saying? You can't tell somebody how to operate on the brain. You know what I'm saying? You got to experience this shit. You got to really live or have experience to be able to tell somebody else what to do. Other than that, you like a hypocrite if you just, you got to do this when you come home. You should do this, but you ain't really never experienced nothing.
Right.
Right.
I just wanted to touch on this real quick. I'm gonna answer your question, Queen. I just wanted to touch on this because Bundles was talking. We got to stop putting the young against the old. You know what I mean? Because I keep hearing. I don't know how old you are, but I keep hearing you say it's a different situation. It's a different generation. Fact, but some of these things are not new. Nothing is new under the sun. The same thing that you experienced when you was bidding, I experienced when I was bidding. It was older cats sitting there telling me, "Yo, man, you wild and you got to calm down." Da, 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 and I wasn't trying to hear it. So what I learned was the older cats experience. So sometimes when they be like, "Yo, chill out, man," they just see they know you going to SHU. They know you catching a new bid. They know you gonna get cut. They just know all kind of shit that you don't know because you involved in the shits already. So we got to stop playing the old against the young and the young against the old. What we got to do is kind of like bridge the gap and try to figure out how we could work together, because just like the civil rights and shit back in the days when you had the Martin Luther Kings and the Malcolm X's and brothers was marching and brothers didn't want to march. You had young dudes that was in the field that was doing the work. You know what I mean? And matter of fact, let me rephrase that, because a lot of our leaders, they were young. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our leaders was leaders when they was 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? 30 years old. Right. It wasn't, they got killed when they was 40. You know what I mean? Shit like that. So they put in work when they was real young. But when you make it to a certain age and you still in the struggle and you still fighting that fight, you got to connect with the young, because the young is the warriors. The young is the people that do the legwork. Mm-hmm. The old people is the council.
I hear that all the time. That the youngest is gonna be the warriors. I hear that all the time.
Yeah, they got to fight, man. The old people can't fight, man. You know what I'm saying? You 70 years old, man. You can't be out on the front line. This is what war is about, man. You ever heard the saying, "Wars, old people politicking and young people dying"? Mm-hmm. 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 You know what I'm saying? Because that's just what it is. But we got to bridge the gap. We got to, the OGs got to come and connect with the young G's, and the information got to be right. The information got to be real. The compassion got to be real. The character got to be real. The motivational speaker, that's not what's popping. You got to be amongst the people. If you really with them and they struggle, and you giving them the guidance, you showing them what to do.
I think we lost luck a little bit. Yo, we definitely going to touch on this more. We're going to get a part 2 to this whole episode. I know we've been on a lot longer than we normally are. You know what I'm saying? I want to salute everybody that was on the check-in. Vic Slain Hope, you know what I'm saying? The boy Ty Luck Johnson, Daryl Jermaine, the bigger. We definitely going to do a part 2 on this. I feel like everybody need to have their own individual interview. You know what I'm saying? So we can get more in depth of y'all's story. We talked as a collective as far as incarceration and things that, all the elements that give us what led up to the incarceration, which is good. I feel like it was good for the youth to hear. I feel like it was good for the people to hear y'all's story. But we definitely want to give y'all one-on-one time to get more in depth with y'all as the individual. You know what I'm saying? Salute to everybody that was on the check-in. You know what I'm saying? Salute to my sister, Stiletto Diva, my co-host.
Thank you so much.
It's always a pleasure. Vic Slain Hope, Daryl Jermaine, Ty Lucky Johnson, Vic Slain Hope, man. I appreciate all of y'all, man. Until next week, man. This is my So Crooked Opinion Podcast.
The bigger.